Hello and welcome to the Ross Cloud Podcast. I'm your host, Carl Ross Sr. And this platform was created to motivate and to inspire in hopes that you will become a better you. I'd like to give a shout out to everybody that's listening all over the world. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Ross Cloud Podcast. We really do appreciate it. Listen, we have a very, very special guest with us on today. I'm super excited to have this gentleman here on today. We have a legendary artist, blues singer, writer, composer. Am I right?
That's right.
That's right. We have the one and only Mr. Roy Roberts. What's happening, Russ Roberts?
Hey, man, nothing but the blues.
Yeah. Man, I absolutely loved it, man. I want to say thank you again, man, for gracing us with your presence here on the Ross Cloud Podcast. We really do appreciate it.
You're quite welcome.
Right on,
well,
right
I
on.
do it.
Yes, sir.
Even if he did have me walking in the rain.
Oh, get older. Oh, Jamal, you should have had an umbrella for this legendary blues singer here, my brother. Right on, right on. So you were farming while you were in Kentucky?
Well, my mom, she married this guy and stepdad, and
Okay.
That's what he did, worked on the farms and
Gotcha.
all of that stuff.
Gotcha.
So
he grew a little bit of everything then, huh?
oh, yeah.
Tomatoes,
You
collards,
name it. You name
cabbage.
it.
Okay,
We had
okay.
it all.
Y'all had to get out there, and so y'all was selling it and everything then, I'm sure, huh?
No, they wasn't selling it. Give it away. People wanted to go in the garden and pick you on. You could go and get it or whatever.
man.
We had plenty.
Y'all had plenty. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful, man, that y'all were giving back like that, though, still.
Yeah, my grandfather, man, he had bought about almost 100 acres of land up there
Really?
from a guy and built him another service station with a restaurant, some tourist cottages in the back, and some
Yeah.
free houses and
Yeah.
all of that
I love it.
he built
I love that.
and everything.
Yeah.
So, he was always teaching me how to help other people, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a place in North Carolina called Shadley Springs. Mm-hmm. And as you were talking about that, it put me in the mind of what your grandfather had, because in Shadley Springs, they have like these log cabins. Mm-hmm. They have these little cottages, cabins in the background, and you can stay in them. And then right off over to the right, there's this restaurant.
Yeah.
And they some of the best food you ever had, too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they had like this little gift shops and all of that. So I can imagine, just based off of what you're telling me, it was just like that.
Yeah, well, that's the way it was with my granddad.
Yeah.
And then he was the first to have a television in our town. Wow. And so he had it up high in the restaurant side.
Yeah.
And on Friday and Saturday night, it was like going to the movies. Blacks and whites would be in there watching that television,
Wow.
So that's how when my mom taught me how to play piano when I was like 11 years old.
Okay, yeah.
And during that time, I didn't care that much about a piano because I thought that's for girls.
Yeah.
Then when Granddad got that television and I saw the guy Jerry Lee Lewis and and all them dudes,
Wow,
Fats Domino and them guys playing the piano. I
Yes,
said,
sir.
It's for guys after all.
Absolutely.
But then Chuck Berry came out.
Oh,
and
man.
Elvis Presley, and they got these guitars and moving and everything, and I'm a mover on stage.
Okay, I
I got to
got
move,
you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I seen that, man, that's what I want to
what you
do.
wanna do. Yeah. I love it. So that was your first introduction to the blues. That was the inspiration for you.
That was it. Granddad, I'd hear all these records coming out of Randy's record mark and all of that out of Nashville, Tennessee, John R. on the radio station.
Sure.
And I'd hear that stuff at night, and I loved that music.
Man, yeah.
And I'd tell Granddad, I want that record by that guy, and I'd tell him. He said, all right, son, I'll order it for you. And he'd order it from Nashville for me.
Man, I love that, man. I even like the story that you told of Black and Whites being together. You wouldn't think that.
Man, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I didn't know what prejudice was till I came to North Carolina in 1960.
Wow.
And we're downtown here, and it was a S&W cafeteria over there on Market Street.
Yeah.
And me and some guys, we were messing around, and we were hungry and wanted something to eat. So I didn't know any better because I hadn't been on came here, you know.
Right.
So I'm getting ready to bust up through the front door, and the boy said, "Hold it, man! You can't go through that door." I said, "What you mean? That's where everybody's going. We're going in there to get something to eat."
Wow.
He said, "No, that ain't the way we do it around here. We got to go around the back."
Wow.
I said, "Well, y'all go around to the back, 'cause I'm not going around to the back. We're going to walk on down to the ghetto and go in where we can get something to eat through the front door."
That's right. That's right. That's good stuff, man. Wow, man, that's an amazing story. And that's right
And
there.
Woolworth, you know, and Woolworth
Yeah.
here, you know, go in there. You couldn't sit at the counter and everything, but you could go in there and spend your money buying all of the merchandise and stuff that they had in there.
Sure, but you couldn't sit down.
But you couldn't sit down. In there.
Wow. That's history, man. You was right here doing while all that was going down.
Yeah,
Then.
came here in 1960.
Wow. I love it. I love history.
Yeah.
And you like a walking history book.
Well, I'm writing. I'm working on writing a book.
Okay.
So
All right. Good.
taking me some time because it's going to be a thick one.
Oh, yes, sir, because I know you got some stories to tell. Goodness, man. So what do you think are the most essential elements of a great blues song, and how do you go about selecting material for your live sets or recordings?
Most of the stuff that I do is my own stuff. I write my own stuff. I write songs that have good stories behind them.
Yeah.
I like love songs, you know. I write a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And everything. And I like stuff that's going to touch somebody. You know, when you go out there and you perform, man, and you're doing one of your songs and the people are really enjoying it.
Yes,
that's
sir.
what makes me happy.
Yes, sir.
You know, doing that.
Yeah.
And so that's what I really like in doing most of my own stuff.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
love that. I love that. So there was a key thing I heard you say: independent. You're doing your own stuff. How important is it for artists to be independent?
Well, you just got to step out. The first thing you do, you got to learn something about the business, because if you don't, and you stepping out there,
The business
everybody's
gonna
going to come and rip you off. That
Yeah.
they see that you don't know what you're doing, and so they're going to try to get you. And see, that kind of happened to me in the beginning, because you know a lot of things happened in my musical career. At first, I didn't want to sing. I didn't want to be a singer.
Gotcha.
Because everybody laughed at my voice back then, because I'm just from Kentucky, that old Southern voice. And they tell me I sound like some old hillbilly white man. And stuff, you know.
All kinds of stuff. I got you.
So I didn't want to, sing.
Yeah.
So how that happened, I went on the road with Solomon Burke in 1963.
Wow.
And when I was out there with him, and we was up in Ohio, Youngstown, Ohio. And the guy that opened for Solomon every night,
Yeah.
he was someplace, done got drunk or something. He couldn't show up.
Right.
So Solomon running around asking everybody, hey, I got to have somebody to open the show.
Yeah.
What about you, boy? Man, I can't sing. Everybody in the band home, they can't sing, so he came over to me.
Yeah.
And he said, Roy, what about you? I said, Solomon, I'm no singer.
Yeah.
I know a lot of songs,
Sure.
but I said, I'm no singer.
Yeah.
He said, well, just try something, do something.
Yeah.
So back then, Chuck Jackson was real hot.
Okay.
I wake up crying, and I don't want to cry, and I
Yeah.
knew those things real well.
Yes, sir.
So I told the band, asked the band, could they play them? Oh, yeah, we know the songs, we can play them. I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. So I got out there and started singing one of them songs. Man, the clubs, women and everything, hollering and dancing and all that stuff. I said, hey, maybe the old voice ain't as bad as I thought it was.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Solomon Burke, he looked around the corner and gave me a thumbs up.
Oh, man, that had to be. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So then I just kept on, man. I kept on singing then,
Yeah.
From then on, I went on and I opened the shows, for him
Yeah.
until I left, him to go out on my own.
I love it, man. I absolutely love that story, man. Would you say that was one of your most memorable moments in your life?
Oh, yeah.
From the beginning?
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you said you didn't want to sing, and you had to get up there and sing anyway.
Well, I was put on the spot,
Yes,
man.
sir.
So, don't cage me up because I'm coming out.
Come on. I love it, man. I love it.
Well, I give the credit to Solomon Burke, man,
Right on.
for doing that because I was too shy to come out to sing,
Yeah.
And then when he put me in that spot where I had to do something,
Yeah.
hey, let's hit it.
Yeah. I love it.
Been doing it ever since.
Yeah, I absolutely love it, man. As we know, the blues scene, the genre, it's such a very storytelling
Oh, yeah.
in that genre of music. It's just absolutely wonderful if you really sit down.
And listen to
And
it. And
listen
that's
to
what I tell people about the music. You got to sit down and listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what the music is behind it, but listen to the lyrics because that's where the message is.
Yeah.
That the artist is trying to throw out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, when young guys or something, they come to me and ask me about wanting to get into the music business,
Yeah.
I tell them the first thing you got to do is learn the business.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, they'll eat you alive.
Yes,
out
sir.
there,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's so
that,
true.
That happened to me, my first recordings, which he was a good friend of mine, and we still friends today. He didn't know nothing about the business, and I didn't either, but he loved to follow me around playing
Sure.
and everything, and
Yeah.
it was Curtis Moore that had Kirk's Record Shop
I got you.
here in town.
Okay.
And so when Otis Redding, because I had played with Otis too.
Come on now. Come on.
So when Otis got killed in the plane crash, I went to stop by Kirk's Record Shop, and he said, Roy, he said, man, since Otis got killed, we ought to write a song about it, because that's what they were doing back in the day. Any artist that died, somebody would come out with a song about him.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. So we wrote The Legend of Otis Redding together.
Gotcha.
And on the flip side of it, I wrote a song called Got to Have Your Love. And you won't believe this. It's still a hit today in England.
Really?
It's called Northern Soul.
Wow.
On that song.
Wow.
So I didn't know what I was doing. Kirk didn't know what he was doing. So Nina Simone, you've heard of her.
Yes.
Nina and her husband came to Greensboro to his record shop and was going over a lot of stuff with him, and he told him about the songs, the record that we'd cut. And so they wanted to buy it from him and release it themselves on their label. So Kirk didn't know no better, so he sold it to him. I think he said $500.
Wow. Wow.
Now, he didn't know what he was doing. He done sold all the rights. Me and him wrote the song together, so he done sold him all the rights and the publishing.
Lord have mercy.
Okay, so now that's gone down the drain.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we cut another little jazz couple of songs that we did, and then after that, Kirk said, Roy, he said, man, I can't really help you to get things going like it should, I said, well, no problem, man. You did the best you could, with what you know how.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so there's another guy came along. I'm not going to call his name because he was a big crook in town. So you're gonna run into them. So he talked me into cutting a couple of records with him.
Okay.
So I said, okay. Now I still don't know the business.
I got you.
So I go and I cut these songs with him.
Yeah.
This sucker took that record to Nashville, sold it to a major company, didn't give me a dime, and he kept all the money and everything. And when he came back, a little later on, I found out what had happened. So I said, I'm not recording anything else with nobody. I'm going to take the time on, learn the business.
Yeah.
Then I'll come back with my own record label.
Yes, sir.
I'll know how to do the promotions. I'll learn how to do it all.
That's right.
In 1970, that's what I did.
I got you.
I started my first record label, Roton Records.
Come on. I love it. I love
Been
it.
going ever since.
Yeah.
But that sucker, he did that to me. Had me to sign the papers in his office, and whenever I left, he tore it up and redid the paperwork in his name.
Really?
So now I'm going go down to Memphis there and hanging out with William Bell, Eddie Floyd, Isaac Hayes, all them old guys.
I love it,
you
man.
know.
Yeah.
And they telling me, Eddie was telling me, he said, man, you got that record out there. Man, you getting some play on that thing,
Yes,
ain't
sir.
you?
Yes, sir.
I said, I guess, you know. I don't know what's
Right
going
on.
on. I
Yeah.
don't know nothing about the business.
Yes, sir.
You know. So they was telling me how to do things. BMI. I didn't know nothing about
Okay,
BMI.
yeah.
You know, I didn't know you can get a writer's contract
Yeah.
with BMI. So that's how your royalties come in and
Yes,
all
sir.
of that.
Yes, sir.
So when they started telling me that, I came on back to Greensboro. I said, this sucker done took my music. He's going to give me my music back.
Yes.
Because I was a pretty rough guy back
got-
then, and he knew my reputation. So,
Ain't playing no games with him, bro.
I went to him, and I told him what he did.
Yeah.
And I said, I want you to sign these BMI papers here and sign all of my stuff over to me
to you, yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not later, but right now.
That's right.
Okay, man, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
So gave me my stuff back,
Yeah.
and that's when then, 1970, I started my own record company,
Beautiful.
And
That's
I-
absolutely. And you
and I've been doing it ever
ever
since.
since. Beautiful story. Beautiful story, man. I want to go back a little bit because I'm intrigued when I heard you say Otis Redding, man. What was it like being on stage with Otis Redding, man?
Well, see, the music to me is a job.
Yeah.
You know, it's a business and it's a job.
Yeah.
And so when I'd go out with any of the entertainers that I played with, you know, like they're doing with my stuff with stint there with Solomon Burke.
Yes.
Well, Stevie Wonder came along with his first record, Fingertips, 12 years old.
Yes, sir.
They put him out there to open shows for Solomon. And so we had to back him too, you know.
He was in the midst of all
So
of that.
I'm playing with Stevie and Solomon
Yeah.
and everything, you know. And then when I left Solomon, I didn't know my dad, okay?
Okay.
He separated, him and my mom, and he got married and had me when I was born. I guess he came in and looked and said, I ain't going to deal with this.
Right.
And he kept getting up, you know, went and joined the Marines. So he was gone for about 3 or 4 years, whatever
Okay.
it was. So that's why I ended up with my grandparents
Understood.
raising me.
Understood.
More, you know. And so after that happened, you know, when I was with Solomon, we was doing a tour out in Texas.
Yeah.
And we had about 3 days off, and the next gig was going to be in Dayton, Ohio. So I said, Solomon, I said, Dayton, Ohio is where my real dad lives. And I said, I don't know him, but I don't think I'd have any problem finding him because
Sure.
my aunt had told me he was a real big businessman in Dayton.
Gotcha.
He had a tire company that supplied the tires for the city and, you know, and everybody around there.
Oh, absolutely.
Big
Yes,
company.
yes, sir.
You know. So I said, I'm pretty sure he won't be any problem to find him. And
Yeah.
so sure enough, Solomon said, okay, take the guys on, you put them in the motel, here's the traveling money.
Yeah.
And I'll be in about 3 days, he said, you know.
Yes, sir.
And so that's what we did. Sure enough, came to Dayton, pulled in the black neighborhood. First house I knocked on the door,
You was in.
This little lady came to the door, and I asked her and told her what I was there for. She said, "Lord, child, I know your dad. We all buy tires for our cars from him.
Wow.
So you go up to the corner and you take a left and go down 5th Street to the edge of town. You'll see a big sign that says Custom Tire Company over the top of the building.
Wow.
It's a red big building down there, and you can't miss it."
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. Went down there, but when I got there, he was out on a service call. So his brother was there, my uncle.
Your uncle.
Which I didn't know him, and he didn't know me
you.
neither.
Right.
So we talking, so I went on and I told my uncle who I was.
Yeah.
So my uncle said, "Well, we're going to pull a trick on your dad. See, do he know who you are?" So the old man pulled up in one of the trucks. He'd been out doing a service call.
Yeah.
And come in. And my uncle went over to him and he said, "DeWitt, this gentleman here want to see about some tires for that van he's driving over there. And see if you got any that'll fit it."
Yeah.
So the old man, he jumps out, "Huh? How you doing, sir?" And let me go check and everything. I'm really getting pissed.
Yeah.
So he goes, he comes back, he said, "Oh, yeah, I got plenty of those tires."
Yeah.
And how many do you need and everything? So I'm letting him talk.
Yes, sir.
Till I got tired of it.
Yeah.
And then I said, "Just hold it. It's a shame." I'm going to say it's a shame. I said worse than that.
You said worse. I understand. Yes, sir.
I said,
yes, sir.
"It's a shame you don't even know who your own son is." And then he stopped and looked. "Is this who I think it is?" "Yes, this is who you think it is." Okay. So, we talked and everything.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to stay there in Dayton with him.
Sure.
And everything. And I said, "Well, I got to finish this tour with Solomon." I said, "I can't do that now."
Yeah.
I said, "I wouldn't put him on the spot like that."
That's right.
I said, "When we finish the tour, then I'll come back to Dayton."
Yes, sir.
So that's what I did.
Right.
And so came back to Dayton, and I'm thinking, "Oh, man, my dad, this cat's filthy rich and everything. He's going to help me,
Yeah, sure.
get on out here and do what I wanted to do."
Sure.
So now I'm hanging out with Ohio players and guys like that.
Oh, man, legendary funk group.
And I started playing with, back then it was Robert Ward.
Okay, yeah.
And the Ohio Untouchables.
Yeah.
That was the name.
Okay, yes,
They
sir.
changed it to the Ohio Players.
Yeah.
So I'm playing with them guys, Robert and everything. And my dad, he wouldn't help me because he knew all of those guys. Because all of them, they come there to buy the tires and stuff for the car. He was about the only show in town during that time. So everybody comes to him.
Yes, sir.
And he's seen them guys drugged out and drinking and all of that.
Sure.
So he thought I was doing the same thing.
Got you.
Because I had to hang with them.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't do nothing to help me.
Because he thought.
Because I was doing what they were doing.
I got you.
And I tried to tell him,
"Nah,
man, I don't do that.
I just play the music.
I play the music.
Yeah.
I get high off of my
the
music,
Yes, sir.
and so that was it,
Yeah.
So he wouldn't help me because of stuff like that.
Sure.
And I stayed around there, I guess, about 8 or 9 months.
Okay.
And I was mad at him.
Got you.
Because
Sorry, getting upset.
here he's going with a woman that had 7 kids, and he's doing everything for that woman.
Yeah.
And then they wasn't his kids.
With his kids.
Okay. Until he did have one by her.
Yes.
And so she could go in, cash register, get money, do anything, going about her business and all of that. And I'm watching this.
Yeah.
Now, my sister, which is his daughter,
Yeah.
Going to school in New York,
Yeah.
trying to go to college, and she called and needed $100, and he didn't give it to her. Now I'm mad again.
I got you. Yeah.
So I go in there and I get the money out of the drawer myself while he was there, and I sent it to her.
Yeah.
I left a note in there where the money went.
That's
so when
right.
you check up, he's
It's
going to
there.
know.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
and I sent it to my sister anyway.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't like it, but he didn't say too much to me about that.
Yeah.
Because he knew where I was coming from. Then watching what he was doing, you know. And so after that, I started tearing up cars and stuff, man. I'd tear up a car and leave it on the side of the road. I left one going to Youngstown, Ohio, another one going over to Indiana, another one going to Chicago.
Oh, man, yes, sir.
It knock off, I leave it on the side of the
Yeah.
road. And, where my car, boy?
Yeah.
It was over here, so
I got
he
you.
somebody in one of the trucks to go get it and pull it in. And so I woke up one morning and I said, if I don't get out of here,
Yeah.
I'm going to destroy my dad. Because I was really mad.
He was angry.
You know.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I want to do my music,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't help me with it.
Yeah.
So he told me one day, boy, as long as you pick that damn guitar, you ain't going to never amount to nothing.
What?
Because I told him he wanted me back there in all that mess, buffing tires and
Yeah,
stuff
that wasn't
like
your
that.
thing, though.
And I said, look at these hands. Do these hands look like they're the kind of hands to be back there in all that filth and
No,
stuff?
sir. No, sir.
You know?
No, sir.
Well, he didn't like that, you
Right,
know.
right.
So he wouldn't help me. So there was a car lot next to his shop.
Yeah.
And I walked over, looking at some cars, and the white guy came out there. He said, oh, hey, Ross, deal with son. He said, you see anything you like out here?
Yeah.
I said, I like that car right over there. It's a two-tone 59 Oldsmobile.
Oh, man.
Black and white. That thing was sharp.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, that's a nice-looking car there. He said, let me put a tag on it, and you drive it around the corner and see
Yeah.
what you think about it.
Yeah.
I said, okay. He shouldn't have never did that. So I went around the corner and came back and told him, man, I really like this car.
Yeah.
He said, well, let me put a permanent tag and you just take the car on. And then every month, you know, you come in and you make the payment.
Got you,
And
yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
That man shouldn't have never
He
did
should have
that.
never did that, huh?
I threw all of my stuff in that car.
And you
Went back to the old man's cash register and got me $100 for traveling, and I left him a note in there. Jumped in my car, and I left Dayton. I didn't go back for 10 years because
Oh, man.
I knew he was going to kill me. If I
Listen, man,
you know?
I'm gonna tell you, Mr. Roberts, that is absolutely. I love that story, man. And so this is a great segue for me to ask you: how has those stories or those things that's happened into your life, how has that informed your songwriting? How has that helped you with your songwriting?
Well, looking back over my life and things that I went through and stuff, and when you hear a lot of my blues music,
Yeah.
you hear the story of my life in a lot of my
Yeah,
songs because
yeah.
I put it in words
Absolutely.
out there, you
Yeah,
know, in
yeah.
music.
And that's blues.
And so when I throw that out there, things like that haven't only happened to me, but it's happened to other people
people, too.
also. So they hear that, you know.
Yeah.
Never-
That's what I love about the blues.
Nothing but the blues,
Nothing
man.
but the blues, man. and tells great stories.
The stories, yeah.
Country music,
And
blues.
country music. I love country music.
Yeah.
I did that in 1980 until 89. I did
Did you
country
really?
music.
I love it, man.
Because what happened there, you know, when the disco came in,
Okay, yeah.
it put all the bands out of business because all the clubs went
Yeah.
disco
Yeah.
with DJs.
I got you.
And I was playing about 300 clubs back in that time. And man, in a month or more, all those people started calling me canceling the
Sure.
gigs.
Really?
Because they was going with the disco guys, the DJs.
Wow.
So now I don't know what in the world I'm going to do. I ain't got no work. This is all I know how to do is play music.
Sure.
So I had an old buddy of mine down in Charlotte named Arthur Smith. You probably heard of him, a
Yeah.
bluegrass singer.
Yeah.
So I called Arthur. I said, man, I don't know what in the world I'm going to do. I don't know nothing but playing music.
Yeah.
And I said, all of the clubs that I've been playing have gone disco
Yes, sir.
and stuff, you
Yes,
know.
sir. Yes, sir.
So he laughed. He said, well, Roy, you could always come down here and play bluegrass music with me and my band. I said, Arthur, I can't play no doggone bluegrass. Y'all's fingers too fast
Yes,
for
sir.
me. You know, I'm a blues man.
Yes,
So
sir.
he laughed and he said, no, Roy, he said, but I'm going to be honest with you. He said, you need to go into country music because he said, you can make it in country music.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, there you go again, Arthur. Telling a black man with an all-black band to go into country music in the state of North Carolina in Klan territory. You know?
Yes, sir.
He laughed about that.
Yeah.
He said, that's true, but he said, if you do it, he said, I know you can do it because you know how to deal with people
That's right.
and you can pull it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, I tell you what I want you to do. I want you to write 2 country songs, bring them to me, and I'm going to record them with me and my band.
Yeah.
We're going to record those songs. And during that time, he had shows on like 52 radio stations.
Wow.
And he said, I'm going to put them out there for you
Yeah.
to help you to get going.
Yeah.
And he did that.
He did that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, he helped me, Arthur Smith.
Yeah, Arthur Smith.
And so then I went to Nashville because I saw him on television.
Yeah.
Black country singer, O.B. McClinton.
Okay.
And I saw him. And so I went to Nashville, found out how to get in touch with him, and me and him hooked up.
Yeah.
And so we started working together.
Yes, sir.
And I started booking him some shows around here in North Carolina.
Oh, man.
And everything.
I love it.
And that was the biggest and the hottest music I've ever done. I mean, it took me a little bit to get through the door.
Sure, sure.
But once I got through the doors,
Yeah.
like a James Brown said,
Yes,
you
sir.
open the door, I'll get it myself.
Yes, sir. That's what you did.
That's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And man, it was the hottest thing I've ever done in the music business.
Yeah.
We'd stay booked nearly a year in advance.
I love it.
And the phone was still
Ring.
ringing off the hook, you know,
Oh,
with
man.
club owners wanting to book us.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man.
And I did that on up till O.B. died in, what was that, 97, I think it was. No, 87.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it was 87 or something.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Whenever he died, they just did something to me, man.
Sure.
And I played a little while longer, and so 89, we were playing on New Year's Eve
Yeah.
gig down in Durham, down at Lake Royale.
I got you.
And when we finished, I just turned to the band and told them, y'all get a job with somebody else. I'm hanging it up for a while.
Yeah.
I never had a break.
Wow.
You know, running all over the United States with Solomon and then other entertainers, you
Sure.
know, and stuff like that.
Sure.
And I was burned out. So I went over, came back to Greensboro that night, locked all my stuff up in my old house, went over to Danville, Virginia.
Yeah, yeah.
Because a friend of mine had told me about an old guy that had a recording studio and he wanted to sell it. So
Okay.
I went over there and talked to the guy, so bought that studio from him.
Yeah, yeah.
So I stayed over there from 1990 till 93,
Gotcha.
recording a lot of Southern gospel and stuff. That's what
Okay.
we were doing
Okay.
over there with a lot of those gospel singers that was coming in.
Sure.
So then one day I got the radio on, and this blues singer come on, Robert Cray. I said, darn, this cat's got just about the same style of playing as I've got.
Yeah.
And I said, this dude is out here making money, and I'm stuck up in this studio. I got to get out of here. So I wrote a couple of songs,
Yeah.
and a couple of days I called my engineer to come in. I said, Tom, I said, man, I got to get out of this studio.
Yes, sir.
I done wrote a couple of blues songs, and
Yeah, it's
I'm
time
going
to
to
go.
record them,
Yeah.
and so I can
Yeah.
make a move
Yes,
in the
sir.
blues then.
Yes, sir.
We said, okay, and so we came in and called the guys in, and we recorded the songs. And I had a friend in Nashville during that time named Ed Crawley that had a record label. So I got in touch with him. He said, "Yeah, Roy, bring them down here, man. I'll release them, and let's just see what we can do with
right
it."
on.
You know, so I took them down and released them
Yeah.
with him. And so from then on, man, you know,
Yeah.
I just started playing the blues, and
I love it, man. I absolutely
I
love it.
started on my next record label and company. It was Rock House Records.
Okay.
I started that, and I've been doing it ever since.
Ever since.
Yeah.
What do you think some of the challenges that some of the contemporary blues artists, what are your thoughts about where you see blues going now, the genre going now? Are you happy with what you see?
No. Because the blues is slowly disappearing.
Yeah.
And because you don't have a lot of blacks out there doing the blues now.
Yeah.
You know, there's 4 or 5 younger black guys that's got a big name out here that's playing right now.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
The young white guys and white girls, they're the ones out there taking over playing what they call the blues. To me, it's rock. you know, more what they're playing.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you that because I know you have a very authentic sound. It's true to the art, the craft, and, you know, that genre. You have that, you know. You know, we miss B.B. King. And,
oh yeah, that's my buddy, baby.
yeah, man. So when I think about that, that was one of the questions that I wanted to ask you. You know, your thoughts on, you know, the contemporary sound. It's totally different.
Well, all of it is. Just look at country music, too. Look at the new country music today. Yeah. It's total change.
It's totally changed.
Everything, you know.
But I feel like it's still a very core group of folks that's
there's still people out there that love the real deal.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir. So I'm one person that really appreciates the authenticity of the genre of blues, the real stuff. The B.B. Kings, and you know, the list goes on and on, you know. Yourself, I had a chance to listen to, there was one particular song that She's So Fine. Yes, sir. I said, I listened to that. I said, man, I like that. The descriptions in that song, man. Yeah, she fine.
Oh, yeah, well, she walked through the door that night. Lord have mercy. She's so fine. That's another blues song right there.
Blues song right there. I tell you, man, I absolutely love it, man. Beautiful song, very well written, man. I actually enjoyed it, and some of your other stuff too. As I continue to listen, you know, and grow. But I think She's So Fine probably stood out the most. Yes, sir. So,
see, and that song. The story behind that, you know, you can be you or anything. You walk up in this club and this chick walks in. And, man, she's so fine. Look at that, will you? I said,
True story.
Another blues song there, boy.
Yes, sir. What do you think your audience takes away from your music?
Well, the places that I play, especially like when I go to Europe. And I love touring over there because, you know, I'm playing to 100,000 people, 80, 90,000 and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
And they love the American music.
Yes, sir.
Especially the blues and all of that, you know.
Yeah.
And so to go out, step out on that stage, and you step out, and I walk up to the front of the stage, and I bow and throw up my hands and wave to the people. You know, and they're clapping and hollering then.
Yeah.
And then when I pick up my guitar and start playing, man, they getting into it and hollering and all of that.
That's got to be awesome, man.
It is.
Be an awesome
that's why I never need no drugs, because, man, that's my high right there within itself.
By itself, man.
Yeah.
You're speaking a language to somebody, and they understand what you're saying through your music.
And they
That's
love
just a
it.
beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
All the way on the other side of the world.
That's it.
Ain't that beautiful? Man, that's a beautiful thing. So
Oh, yeah.
music is a beautiful tool if
Yeah.
used correctly. You know, it's absolutely beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's like medicine, man.
Yeah, it
can
really
heal you
is.
because I don't care what is hurting on me. If I get to that stage and I start playing, I don't feel no pain.
You don't feel no pain. Yeah, I agree with you on that, man. Sometimes, man, not sometimes, all the time. When I get in my car, that's the first thing I do. Turn on me some good sounds, and I'm riding.
Yeah.
And man, I think I can drive until I can just drive.
Yeah, that's it,
And the
man.
music never dies. It's always alive.
That's
I
it.
don't care. That music gonna stay alive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, even when we dead and gone, that music
Still gonna be there.
It's still gonna be there.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So, what are some? Do you have any upcoming projects or collaborations that any of your fans and audience can be on the lookout for? I think you
Well,
mentioned it a little bit.
The only thing that I've got going right now is this coming Sunday. We don't get rained out.
Yeah.
The Blues Reservations
Yes, sir.
decided they are putting on a thing that we are playing over on Phillips Avenue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Down there where the Family Dollar store.
Yes, sir.
You
We
know
will
where
be
that's
there.
at.
We went early. We went too early there, Roy. Ah, boy, that was something else. I was out there waiting. I told Jamal, I said, "Wait a minute, man. Ain't no stage. Ain't no engineers hooking up nothing. What's going on, bro?" I was ready to hear some blues. I'm gonna tell you.
It's this
And
Sunday
talk
on
to
the
you, too,
11th,
yeah.
and he called me up. Man, what is it supposed to be? You must have been over there then whenever he called me. I said, man, it ain't till the 11th.
Yes, sir, man. But I'm gonna tell you, man, we definitely will be there. I will be there also to talk with you.
2 to
again.
6.
Yes,
2
sir.
to 6.
Yes, sir. We're gonna talk to you again on that day too.
Okay.
And we're gonna make sure the folks get a chance to get out there and check out what you got going on out there too, Roy, because that's a big deal. And let's get some of these CDs moving again.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
man.
saying? Yes,
I
sir.
definitely need to get them out there, boy.
Yes,
'cause
sir.
I got a
That's-
lot of them.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about some of the CDs you got now and how the folks can go purchase some of your CDs, Roy.
Well, you can go on my website, royrobertsblues.com, and then you go through the little icons up on the top, and you see where it says music, and then you can go and click on there and go down the list of all the CDs
Yes,
and
sir.
everything, and
Yes, sir.
order whatever you want.
There it is. There it is, right there. So, Roy, in closing, man, could you say something to an aspiring musician that wants to pursue the music business? If you could say something to motivate them, to inspire them, what would you say to that person?
Well, like I say, people, young people or whatever, when they come to my studio, the first thing I ask them, do you know anything about the business?
Yeah.
No, what is that? Or what am I supposed to do? Yeah. Do you know anything about BMI, ASCAP, or CSAC? No, what is that? Never heard of that.
Yeah.
I say, what you need to do before you get out here and start trying to record your music and all of that, learn something about the business.
Yes, sir.
So you'll know what you're doing.
There it is.
And everybody that comes in my studio to record, I ask them, do they know about BMI, ASCAP, and all of that?
Yeah.
No, I don't know nothing about that. Well, did you write that song? Yeah, I wrote this song.
Yeah.
So, you know about the copyrights? No, I don't have no copyright on it. What I do,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I tell them everything that they need to do
Yes, sir.
so they can get their house in order, man.
I love it. Absolutely. And finally,
Because I don't want
Yeah.
them to end up like I had to learn the hard way.
absolutely.
I got a hit song out there that's been a hit ever since 1967.
Wow.
And I ain't making a dime off of it.
Wow.
I had a guy about 9 or 10 months ago from England. He saw me, my stuff on the internet,
Yeah.
and he sent me an email, and he said, I want to know if you're the Roy Roberts that recorded Got to Have Your Love.
Wow.
He said, if you're the one that did that, He said, "Man, that thing is hot over here."
Wow.
I said, "Yeah, superstar over here with the song."
Wow.
I've been to you over there in England on a big tour. They brought me over to sing that song and 2 other songs that I had.
Ain't that awesome, man?
Big money, fancy hotels,
Yes,
all of
sir.
that limousine riding, son of a gun.
They had to roll out the red carpet.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
When they Preston, Wales was where I was at.
Man, this is beautiful, man.
Yeah, so
Yes,
it was nice. So any of the people, young guys and stuff like that, that come to my studio, anybody, if they come in to record, I don't care if it's gospel or what.
Yes, sir.
I ask them, have you got your house in order? Because I don't want you to come in here and something go wrong and you cutting your music in my studio, and then it gets out there someplace and you come back and say, well, Roy Roberts, he's recorded that over here and stole my music. We're not going to have that.
No, we're not doing that.
You're going to learn before you walk out that door what you need to do to tie your music down where you own it.
I love it.
Learn the business.
Learn the business.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well said.
That's it.
Well said, man. Nothing else to say but learn the business.
That's it.
Yeah. And the fact that you have enough integrity,
Mm-hmm.
Roy, to tell people, say, hey, listen, we ain't doing nothing until you go get that straight. And
I don't want them to end up like I ended up, had to learn the hard way.
That's right.
And which I'm glad that it did, because, it helped me a lot.
Yeah.
I've had some of the major record companies would call me, want me to come to New York, L.A., or Chicago.
Yeah.
And I go there, and I'm an old country boy, sitting there, and they running all this stuff by me and everything.
Yeah.
Then they ask me, well, Mr. Roberts, what do you think about our deal? I raise up and come to life then.
Yeah.
Your deal is not for me. These are the percentages that I got to have for each one of my records sold, and this and that, and this is the way it's got to be. Now, if you can do that, we got a deal.
We got a deal.
So then they'll start looking at the watches and stuff. Well, Mr. Roberts, it's getting probably about lunchtime, so I tell you what, we're going to get in touch with you in a couple of days and give you our decision.
Yeah.
Never hear from them again.
Absolutely.
Why? Because here's a dude that they can't run a game on. I stopped and learned the business.
Learn the
and
business.
when I came back, well,
No, sir.
too hard to handle me,
Yes,
boy.
sir.
You got to have your house in order if you're going to work with me.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So that's what I do to everybody that comes in the studio, and I've helped a whole lot of people. And
That's good. That's good stuff. Well, you got a plethora of wisdom to give the folks
Oh, yeah.
out there, man, so they can win. 'Cause that's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah.
Winning at the end of
Because
the day.
I've looked at all them other old blues guys, man.
Yeah.
What was that movie, Cadillac Records? I
Yeah.
think
Oh,
did
man.
you see that?
Yes, I did, man. Cadillac Records. It was
Yes.
horrible.
Old Leonard Chester, man, millions of dollars and
Giving
all
the
of
boys
that.
just Cadillacs.
And give them a Cadillac and a couple of $1,000, and they felt like they owned the world until that's gone.
Until it's gone.
And then they right back where they
Cadillac.
started from.
Right.
Dudes
That's
die and
right.
don't even have money to bear themselves or nothing like that.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of lessons to be learned.
Oh, yeah.
Watch that.
Yeah, that's why I tell a lot of them, too, that come in there, you need to look at that movie, Cadillac
yes,
Records.
Sir.
Know.
Yes, sir. You'll learn
You'll
quick.
learn real quick.
Yes, sir. And finally, what does the future hold for the blues genre, and how do you envision it continuing to evolve and grow in the coming years?
Well, the way things have changed now, it's looking pretty sad for the blues.
Yeah.
Because like all of your blues, the old blues guys, everybody's done died out.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
Yeah.
ain't but a handful left.
True.
And they just about, they're standing on
about.
one leg, you know.
I got you. Yeah, I got you. Yes,
one
sir.
foot in the grave and the other one about to come on down with it, you know. So
Yes,
that's what is happening with the blues. And you don't have enough of these young people that want to carry on because they're so into this hip-hop mess.
Yeah.
All the cursing and all of that stuff.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir.
And it's sad.
Yeah.
Because I tell everybody, you don't have to curse in a record to get a hit record.
Nah, you don't.
You don't have to do that.
Nah, you don't have to do that. You really don't.
Mm-mm.
Nah, you really don't. That's so true. That's so true. Some great words of wisdom. Listen, I hope you guys have heard something today that could help you become a better you. I want to say thank you again to our wonderful special guest. I'm going to say it. The King of Blues. Mr. Roy Roberts. I want to say thank you again for coming on the Ross Cloud Podcast.
You're quite welcome.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it.
Anytime, man.
Totally was a pleasure, sir. Yeah. So listen, this is the Ross Cloud Podcast. Make it a great day and keep being great. Peace.